Hello, dear viewers, and welcome to a new episode of Windows. I'm Hamad Abdurrahim, and I'm sitting in for my dear colleague Dina Hussein for this episode. Dear viewers, for more than 2 decades, Egyptians and the world have been waiting for the world's largest archaeological museum, the Grand Egyptian Museum, or GEM, to open and showcase more than 100,000 of the country's ancient treasures. Egypt's tourism minister has said recently that the $1 billion project is nearly ready to open in the upcoming months, despite regional tensions. As a soft opening this December, visitors to Egypt can whet their appetite with Tutankhamun, the immersive exhibition, mesmerizing journey through ancient Egypt. Also, the grand staircase of the museum has been opened. We'll be talking about GEM. We'll be talking about the soft opening, about tourism issues here in Egypt, and specifically about GEM, which has already been described as the world's largest cultural city, not just museum, in the company of Egyptologist and heritage researcher Rana Ihab. A very good evening to you, Rana. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for you, and thanks for choosing this topic because it's important, and all the world talk about this Grand Egyptian Museum or the project of the Egyptian Museum.
Indeed, Rana, and I know you are passionate about your work. So how do you personally feel, with the soft opening, with the grand staircase opening, and as we await the official opening of the GEM?
Actually, in my personal side, this is considered as one of the things that we need to see as a youth in Egypt. Grand Egyptian Museum and the feature inside the Grand Egyptian Museum is completely different from any other museum that have been located in Egypt. So with everything is completely different. Started before you are going to design your trip inside that, until when you visit the Grand Egyptian Museum, until what happened inside the Grand Egyptian Museum, how you feel after that. So all of these look like a journey, how the ancient Egyptians believes on it. So now they are reflecting their thinking about the ancient Egypt to us, how they rule the world. Actually, they rule the world with architecture and art, and now we need to rule the world with the technology inside the Grand Egyptian Museum, and also what we add to the Grand Egyptian Museum, especially at this point. So it was started from your being in the Egyptian Museum for the first time. You are seeing the hanging obelisk, which is considered as the first and the only hanging obelisk in all the world. It's just like a tiny project that we see. This obelisk was a kind of broken, and we conserved this obelisk. During the conservation, we found there is a title of the king in the bottom of the obelisk. They are thinking, why not to make this an hanging obelisk, to make the people see how the ancient Egyptian thought, how the ancient Egyptian king in this time want to tell the people, if you change anything from the description or inscription in the obelisk, it also will be for me, from the bottom. For this reason, we make this as an hanging obelisk. You can go behind the obelisk and see what's inside, and see the cartouche, see the name of the king, which is also amazing. And finally, you finish this step and you are starting to go inside the Egyptian Museum. You will find the Great Gate. The Great Gate, it's have the names of all the Egyptian kings and the hieroglyphs. So it's also something make you feel proud of your nationality, feeling proud. There is a human thinking in a perfect way like this, actually.
We'll let you take us through a tour of the Grand Egyptian Museum, which I'm sure that you've been to many times. I mean, tell us, when was the first time that you visited GEM, when it was under, construction, and how many times have you been there?
Actually, it's around from 4 to 6 times.
Right.
I started to be in the gym when we are starting our conservation open to people that you can see what is the conservation labs, which is considered as the most largest and important conservation labs in all Middle East. So it's prepared very well. The people working inside, they know what they are doing, because in this time we starting to move some of artifacts from the treasure of King Tutankhamun. So it's need special treatment. When we are starting in that, the labs was opened for the people to see how the conservation process.
You were a student back then when you first visited?
Sorry?
You were a student back then?
Yes, exactly. I was a student at that time.
Do you remember what year was it? Like 2019 maybe?
Maybe, yes, and that time. So
because I remember Nile TV International went there in 2019. I was personally there, and we filmed while things were still, being constructed.
Yes, it was amazing actually, because as a student, when I see the conservators and the most cleverest conservators in Egypt now working in such a great project, each labs there is divided for many parts, like for the stones, for organic, for non-organic, specialized things for King Tutankhamun, for the clothes of the Tutankhamun. It was actually absolutely amazing thing in that time, especially. Nowadays, I can visit the labs, but also I can visit the monuments inside the Grand Egyptian Museum. When you enter from this great door, you will find King Ramses II welcoming you, looking at you, and he welcoming you to be in the Egyptian Museum. And we have a long and amazing story with the statue of King Ramses II, because we have a famous square here in Cairo. It's called Ramses. It's according to him, according to his statue was in that time. Then they decided to remove the statue from this square to be in the Grand Egyptian Museum. It's a kind of some sad story for some persons, because they love to see Ramses II every day when they are going to the work. But this is the perfect place for him, because it's in the middle of the square. We have the pollution, the cars, everything around the king. So I don't think he will be happy being his statue in such a place.
And GEM overlooks the Giza Plateau, right?
Yes.
I mean, we can see the pyramids from there. So talk to us about how significant is that, and how beautiful is that view?
Before GEM, people want to visit the museums in Egypt, like the Egyptian Museum in Tahrir. It's one of the most amazing places also.
Of course,
the
very
building
iconic,
itself,
of course. Yes.
Exactly. And the building itself is a heritage. The building is a historical building, even that. So when the gym was building, people thought the other it will be effect on the other museums in Egypt. So people will visit only the gym without the Egyptian Museum. To be honest, some people didn't have enough time to go in Cairo for 2 or 3 days. So going to the pyramid, then going to the Egyptian Museum, it's take from around 45 minutes. When we have the gym, it's only 2 kilometers away from the Giza Plateau. So even in the journey inside the Grand Egyptian Museum, with the ending of the staircase, you will find the Giza Plateau. You will find the panorama for the 3 pyramids in Giza, Khufu and Khafra and Menkaura. So it's also something amazing, and it facilitates the visitor experience in Egypt, especially the people who spend only a one night or a one day in Egypt, so they can visit many times and visit many things with the Grand Egyptian Museum, and they will be actually happy what is inside, and seeing the monuments, or the most important monuments in the Grand Egyptian Museum also.
Yes, Rana. Gem has been described by many as a beacon of cultural heritage. You're a heritage researcher. So tell us, why is it being described as a beacon of cultural heritage that is supposed to link, antiquity with the modern world?
When you enter the Grand Egyptian Museum, looking at the Ramses II welcoming you, then you will find the Grand Egyptian Museum is divided for two parts, one on the left and one on the right.
Right.
In the ancient Egyptian beliefs, they believe in the nether life. Also, they love the life so much. For that reason, we found gaming boards, we found activities they are doing, like hunting, fishing, a lot of things doing in their real life. So we take the concept to the Grand Egyptian Museum. So in the left side, you will find the monuments and the archaeological objects and so on. In the right side, you will find actually the life like the restaurants, the coffee shop, the gift shop, and everything related to our life now, taken from the ancient Egyptian. Here is the link between
Yes, from
the
antiquity
both.
to modern world.
Exactly.
So, Rana, there is a huge collection of tens of thousands of objects that cover, all eras, from prehistoric to Roman times, right? Talk to us about some of these key objects, and which is your favorite. What do you like most? What do you recommend?
Actually, the Egyptian Museum arranging the objects in a different way. So in the mythology world, we said this museum is arranged according to the periods.
Right.
This museum arranged according to the material it's depend on. In the Grand Egyptian Museum, it's arranged according to the topics. So we have on the left side the grand staircase. In the grand staircase, there is contains of three phases. It started with the phase of the king, the rule of the king, the model of the king, how the king see himself in this. What is the idea of the king want to tell his people about? So it's talk about the crown, the shape, the clothes, everything, and this takes a time or a period from the old kingdom till the new kingdom. So you can see statues for King Akhenaten, King Tutankhamun, Queen Hatshepsut, and also from the Middle Kingdom you can see 10 statues for King Senusert, because in that time the art in Egypt is not that good. So the art is doing a competition between them who will make the ideal statue for the king at this point. So for that reason
That's
we
why
have
we
a 10
have- yeah,
yes, a
yeah.
10 collection
So many,
full of them. And actually most of them is completely look like each other. You cannot say this is made by different artists. Maybe it's by one artist who made this. And also King Akhenaten, King Tutankhamun, a lot of kings. Then you're going to the second phase. You will find it's called the house of the king. The house of the king here. We have the temples. The temples of the king, how they are using the place for the worship, the different shape from the columns inside the temples, the sphinx also that's found inside the temples. We're taking the symbols here in the Grand Egyptian Museum. Then you go into the third phase, which is about the relationship between the god and between the king, and how he's become the king of Egypt, because this is take a long story, and he should be from the royal family, the royal blood family. So he telling here the king here telling us why he be the king of Egypt, why he's supposed to be the king of Egypt, why the people chosen him to be the king of Egypt.
Him or her, of course.
Yes,
they
because
were
we have a
kings,
queens in Egypt. And the last phase we have here, the journey of the king or of the in the nether life, the eternity, what he will do after his death. So we will found the sarcophagus, we will found the coffin, and we will found also the shape of the pyramidium that should be on the pyramid itself. We have the pyramid that we know, and we have on the top of the pyramid something small. It's called pyramidium, the top of the pyramid, and we have it here. So this is the final stage for the life from the ancient Egyptian perspective, and this is also the end shape with the pyramids. This is the final step for the king. He's spending his life doing his image, the house, his house, and also the relation between him and between the God, and also the last stage. It's about how he thought about the God. He think there is he believe in life after death. And this is the eternity where the soul of the king will be forever. Here is the end point of the staircase. Actually, the staircase is called the grand staircase. It's about a 30 floor. But when you are going, you will not feel you are tired. For
30
sure.
floors?
Yes, 30 floors. You will never find yourself tired because we have elevators. We have everything was actually prepared for all kinds of people. But because you are going around the statues and around the objects, and you see the stories, you read the stories, you hear the stories, so you will never feel that you are tired. And especially the design was made making you comfortable when you are walking in.
And the staircase ends by reaching a place where you can see the pyramids, right?
Exactly, with the glass, and you can see the Giza plateau itself. You see the pyramids of Giza, and you will feel actually why the kings made all of this history to build something, being one of ancient Egyptian remaining wonders till this moment, which is the pyramids in Giza.
Indeed. I guess you have to go there and take the experience yourself to get that feeling, but you're already conveying it to us beautifully. Rana, the Tutankhamun collection, of course, is a very special one. There's been a soft opening for that collection. Talk to us about that very special collection.
The impressive exhibition of King Tutankhamun, one of the most amazing that happened in Egypt during this 10 years actually. We know the history by going with our tour guide. Then we hear the stories, and the tour guide tell us what happened with this statue or what happened with this object. But when you feel or when you live inside this thing, it's something amazing. Before we go into the impressive exhibition, I want to talk about the treasure of King Tutankhamun. Finally, in the Grand Egyptian Museum, the whole thing inside the tomb of King Tutankhamun will be in the same place again, even with his mummy. So Tutankhamun have a lot of treasure because we know his story that his tomb was closed until from the time they buried the king. No one opened it except us as a human in modern history now. So they taking everything related to King Tutankhamun. So the life of Tutankhamun is amazing actually, how he found all of these chariots and all of these shrines with this golden things. And if we are talking especially about the mosque or the golden mosque of King Tutankhamun, I think we need 10 episodes to talk about this special piece. This is it's called a jewel of the Egyptian antiques. When we are talking about anything, you will find the first thing mentioned by people, the golden mosque of King Tutankhamun, because it was completely made from gold and a precious material. So the impressive exhibition, you enter and you have just a small chairs you sit on, but you will be in the journey you will never forget in your life. So everything around you is moving. It started from you are sitting in the chair, and you have how the story of King Tutankhamun started looking at the Nile River, you are sitting in a small chair, but you feel you are in the boat on the Nile River, and this boat actually is moving. And you found the pyramids on the left side, and you found the deserts on the right side, and suddenly you stopped because you are now need to go to the temple. So you are inside the temple, and talking about the Egyptian legacy. And after that step, you will find yourself entering the Valley of the Kings with the old tombs, how we discovered the tomb of King Tutankhamun, and you actually in the tomb of King Tutankhamun. Even the gods and the goddesses in the wall of the tomb, they are moving and talking to you, telling them about the story of King Tutankhamun and how he passed his from his life to the nether life, what he does in the life when he's a boy, when he is a king of Egypt. Actually, everything related to the life of King Tutankhamun is around you and moving. And then you're going to the next step, which is about how we discovered this tomb. All the newspapers talk about the great excavation around you is going and moving. Suddenly you found the sand on your leg and in your hand. What happened? You feel something collapsing, but you are just staying, and everything around you is moving, telling you a story. You are looking to the emotions, and also this played a very important role in our children legacy now. So now we are in the technology, and we are talking about the modern technology, and the Grand Egyptian Museum takes you to this point. It's not because it's an ancient thing, so we need to keep the tradition way by listen to the tour guide. No, you have another thing to looking to listen and moving, feel the life, feeling the desert, the sand, even the Khibr, the scribe, walking around you, you feel you are in the tomb indeed.
At the same time, it is eco-friendly. So talk to us about that important element. It's the first eco-friendly museum that we have here in Egypt. Of course, the largest, I guess, in the world that talks about one civilization, one specific civilization.
Yes, actually, each part in the and the Grand Egyptian Museum was made to be eco-friendly. It's a modern one. It's the largest one. It's the biggest one. So we need to keep it as it's going in the right way. Actually, we take a prize on the Grand Egyptian Museum that related to the eco-friendly, and also cause of the gardens of the Grand Egyptian Museum with the green area, big green area in the desert, in the Giza Plateau. Also, this is played a very important role, that when we care about the next generation, and we are talking about the conferences, we actually reception the COP27 last year here in Egypt, and we are talking in that, and when we are taking the prize of the Grand Egyptian Museum, that's reflect we are in the right way to keep the environment safe with the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Right, and the lighting system is a natural lighting system, right?
Yes, exactly. The great windows inside the Grand Egyptian Museum make the sun rays entering the Grand Egyptian Museum, so you feel even the air. When you are in the hall, in the big hall inside the Grand Egyptian Museum, there is no air conditions, because also the air system with the building that we are doing and the architectural thing, so not needed for the big lighting system, not needed for a great air conditions or that, but everything is natural, like what we have in the Great Pyramid in Giza. When you enter the Great Pyramid in Giza, you didn't feel that you are in a closed place. So we're taking the same system from thousands of years ago to make it in the Grand Egyptian Museum.
There is a children's museum inside, Jem, with educational facilities and so on.
Yes,
Can you talk
exactly.
to us about that?
children, they have a different way to learn them or to teach them about the history in general. So they have in their minds something special from the adults. They want to learn and they want to do activities also. So we in the Grand Egyptian Museum, they are doing the both, making the children encourage and know how they can educate with the activities, with their hands, doing things with their hands, listen to the stories, but not like the stories for the adults. It's the same one, but with a different storytelling way. Make them actually interactive with the VR glasses and those things, which is completely amazing thing that Egypt care about it during the last 10 years here, making in the all museums should be a museum for children, which is also something very, very important nowadays.
Right. Rana, you talked to us earlier about, you know, the technology and how the technology is being introduced. So, how do you see the role of artificial intelligence in at GEM?
The artificial intelligence actually started from the early beginning. If you want to go to the gym, you not needed to go to be in the line of the tickets to take a ticket. You can do it early reservation from the website, which is something amazing.
Online booking, yes,
Online
no, yeah.
booking. And then when you are going inside the Grand Egyptian Museum, it's not needed to take a picture from your phone with the Ramses II, for example, because we have a photo booth that you just stand on and see the position you need, take the picture, and the picture will send to your mail directly. So this is one of the most amazing things, not located in any other places, because all the people want to take a photo with King Ramses II. So you have this photo booth, you will take it for yourself, and the picture will send to your mail, and you will find that directly when you open it. So this apart, and also we talking about the impressive exhibition of King Tutankhamun. Everything
Yes.
is going around you. For sure, all of that made with the artificial intelligence. You can see this. It's made in a perfect way. All the people from different ages will enjoy with this experience. So this is also played an important role. We are talking about the system inside the Egyptian Museum itself. The headphones you are taking with you to listen to your guide. Everything is facilitated. Also, I want to shed the light on a very, very important thing.
Yes.
That the people with the special needs, the Grand Egyptian Museum will offer to them anything they need. We care also about the visual empires people. So we made like for each part of things in the or objects in the grand staircase, we have a panel that we have a small statue from this thing with a prile. They can do their touches on it, and people can see. Also, you can touch it with these panels, dedicated panels for them. The
Beautiful,
elevator,
yeah.
the elevators there, everything actually was amazing in the Grand Egyptian Museum. The experience is very, very nice, and you feel how Egypt is a great, how Egypt with the ancient Egyptian kings who ruled the world one day, they left their legacy, they left their history for us to learn from it.
Indeed, and certainly the differently abled or the people with special abilities have a very special status here in Egypt and in our hearts and in the government's plans, and they deserve that, certainly. Rana, there was a groundbreaking DNA study that said that King Tut wasn't murdered, or proved that he wasn't murdered. Your comment on that, and how this, you know, marks a new chapter in the use of modern and the application of modern science as you know, related to ancient history.
Actually, the new technology helped us in understanding a lot of things. For example, not only a King Tutankhamun, because we make just like a CT scan on his body to understand what happened to this person.
Mm.
We found just a break leg, and some people said he was murdered because we found a hole in the skull, in the behind skull, and we said he was murdered for that. Then we discovered this is made to take the brain in the process of mummification, because in the process of mummification in ancient Egypt they have two types to take the brain off from the body. They take it they take off the brain from the nose, or they break something from the skull head to take it. So when we do this, we considered that the ancient Egyptians do this to take only the brain. And also we found that the King Tutankhamun, at that time he have kind of diseases with his leg and with his back and different things. All of that we know from the scan that see and that we are using with the modern technology actually. So when we found a beautiful mummified things with the linen, doing with the shapes and this stuff, we need to see what's inside this linen. We need to see what's the people or the ancient Egyptian bought inside this mummification thing. It's not needed to open it and to close it again. With the modern technology with the CT scan, you can just the X-ray, you will see what's inside this. If we have a skeleton for animal or for a human or whatever. So at this point here, this is the playing rule of the modern technology, how we preserve our heritage.
Right. Rana, Egypt has been chosen by the lovely Lonely Planet website as one of the best destinations and one of the top destinations in the world to visit in 2024. Your comment on that?
To be honest, we have a great competitors in the Middle East in general. But when we are looking for Egypt, we will find Egypt is very, very special. We have all kinds of tourism that you be needed, and you will find that. If you love the green tourism, we have the green tourism with our gardens, with our oases, with our gardens and everything. And if you're looking for a sea tourism or the blue tourism, as we mentioned, you will find we have two seas actually and one river. So it's amazing. The Mediterranean Sea with the north coast. If you want to see how the creatures is amazing, the colorful in the Red Sea, it's available in Sharm el Sheikh and in Hurghada. And if you like the yellow tourism, which is according to the desert tourism, you will find we have a desert and amazing safari also to do in Egypt. Every kind of tourism we have here. And if you like to learn, to see how ancient people lived, we are the civilization of thousands of years. So it's rich, very heavy of information. You can see everything. You know, in Egypt here we see if you have a stone on the land, will tell you a huge story about it. So the walls talking about the story or the history of Egypt. And the other thing is amazing that the weather here. The weather here is amazing in the winter, and compared with Europe or with America, it's amazing. And you can find, for example, now here in Cairo it's cold, but if you're going to Luxor and Aswan, you will enjoy with the sun rays. You can visit and you can enjoying the sun rays reflection on the Nile River, which is completely amazing. So this is why Egypt in the top of tourism destinations all the time. And it's not the last thing, but I want to mention how the Egyptian people actually is very kind. So during your walking in Luxor and Aswan, you will find the people telling you, come to my home to give you a cup of tea. They didn't want from you anything. Just this is their way to welcoming the people, to welcoming the visitors in their country.
Beautifully said, Rana. So, In 2021, there was the Royal Mummies Parade and also the Road of the Rams Road in Luxor. Those two great events were attended by His Excellency the President himself. And now, so we are waiting for GEM to be officially opened, hopefully in 2024. How are you looking forward to that? And how will this, change or upgrade or make the tourism give a boost and a push to the tourism industry in Egypt? GEM specifically, Grand Egyptian Museum, that has already been dubbed as the biggest cultural city in the world. Not just a museum, it's a cultural city.
Yes. I want to shed the light that during the last 10 years here in Egypt, especially with the President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, he's doing a lot of achievement in the file of tourism and culture in Egypt. How many kind of museums we opened, how many activities related to the tourism opened, and when we are talking about the parade of the mummies, after that you will during this time Egyptian people walking in the street, you will listen to they are doing the songs that related to Egypt and how they feel their country is amazing. And also we will talk about the occupancy in the Egyptian hotels. And that time it's full, so there is no rooms at that time because the people is very interested to see the amazing of the museums, the amazing of the development infrastructure here in Egypt. So everything the government do now, it's actually take us a step in future to see, to facilitate everything for the people who's coming, the people who want to invest, for example, in the tourism, invest in the archaeology and the everything. We have here also the most of excavations that are doing by the foreigners here in Egypt, by the Egyptian hand. I want to just especially talk about the Egyptian hands who are doing this excavation with the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, also from the universities that related to faculty of archaeologies. They are working very, very hard. They want to prove that Egypt is fine. Egypt is doing its best to be on the list every time. We have a great competitors, as I mentioned, in the Middle East, but still Egypt taking a special place in a people's hearts. Everything here is amazing, and when we start to development in the same track, I think it's after maybe 5 years, at least 5 years, I think Egypt will be a competitors with Europe and with America. And actually we are on the track now, because the people from Europe come now to Egypt because of the weather, because of the sun. They especially
because of the treasures. I mean, nobody has as many treasures as we do, right?
Yes,
Rana?
actually, this is true. So and we support everything happened nowadays in Egypt, and we are behind our government to keep it in the right way.
All right. On that note, dear viewers, on behalf of you, we thank very much our dear guest here with us in the studio, Rana Ihab, Egyptologist and heritage researcher. Always a pleasure to have you with us, Rana.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rana, very much. And thank you, dear viewers, for watching us. This is Mohammed Abdurrahim, and this is Goodbye.